One of the milestone mechanics in the first Dawntrail Savage raid with Black Cats is called Mouser. Mouser 1 and 2, we're going to focus on Mouser 1, just the basic Mouser mechanics. At the beginning of Mouser, the Black Cat, the boss, will go ahead and go to the center and begin to cast to get ready to break up these tiles. The party will always be going over to here, the southwest center tile right here. Because at the beginning of every mouse mechanic, this southeast tile is always going to be targeted first. So it's gotta hit this one no matter what. The party, upon seeing this get physically hit, when this tile breaks, they will move to this tile, and then they will either move back to this tile or they will stay in this tile. So either a one movement dodge here or a two movement dodge, move to this tile, wait for this tile to get hit, and then move back to this original tile. Basically, it's the same as in normal. You're just watching these tiles get hit and paying attention to which ones get hit twice to know how to avoid that, to dodge that. There are two main configurations that it could end up, where it is either it'll be a east-west configuration like this by the end of it, so it'll just destroy the first row, last row, and then a zigzag pattern. It could also zigzag the other way, or it could do a north-south vertical pattern. It takes out the columns here and then does a zigzag across the middle. It'll do one of these two, technically four configurations by the end, and the party will just then deal with it. So we'll, for example, do a vertical configuration, a zigzag pattern of these, squares will have been hit, and so now they're cracked. So you'll be dealing with the Mouser mechanic based on which tiles are cracked and which tiles are not cracked. A copy of the boss will appear over in the far edge of the arena. So it could appear here at the north, or it could appear at the edge here west. This duplicate of the boss, you'll still be hitting the boss in the center. So the duplicate of the boss will do one of two animations. Here's some screen caps from other clear VODs showing this. These are what the two animations look like. So the boss could either be crouching down with their glowing fist raised up. This is Black Cat is going to uppercut you, and basically this is a knock up version of the animation. The player that will be marked with a paw print marker is going to be knocked up and one square away when the boss hits them. Otherwise, the boss will look like this animation-wise, with an upright stance. This is she's going to slam down. So the player that's marked with the paw print marker will not move from the square they're standing in. They'll just get smashed into that square. And just basically be stunned briefly with a down for the count-esque debuff. So to deal with this, so now the party is spread out, tanks doing their thing and everything. The paw print markers will target either all the supports, so all the tanks and healers, or all the DPS. Whoever gets targeted in Mouser 1, the other group will be targeted for Mouser 2. So you can predict things that way for what to do later in the fight, but it's just basically that's how it targets groups, whole groups at a time. So let's say then we have a tank that's marked with the paw print marker, so they're about to be hit with the copy of Black Cat. If she's in the crouch down animation, she's going to uppercut. When you get uppercuts, first off, she will dash to you. She is an anime fan. She will teleport behind you and say, "Tough luck, kid." Wherever you're standing, when Black Cat teleports you, whenever she teleports you, will be hit with a cross AoE that hits the tiles like this. So it's got to hit vertically and it's got to hit horizontally. So the party needs to be somewhere on these three safe tiles. Similarly, same thing. If the tank goes here instead and gets hit there, it'll just be the AoEs will look like this instead. So it's a big cross AoE. The party can be here, here, or here and still not be hit. The party should practice being all together though for Mouser 2 when the party needs to be together for certain mechanics. So, crouch down. So the movement for this is she teleports behind you, and then in the direction that the player is looking when they're stunned by the copy's attack, that's the direction they're gonna fly. So if the tank is looking northward at this tile, they will fly a little less than one block this way and land on this tile. Now, if this is the broken tile, which I've indicated in red here, this will break the tile. So this tank will just die if they did it this way. So one way of doing it is going from a broken tile, looking westward, for example. So she teleports behind the tank goes flying, lands on this tile gets broken, the AoE sets off, so the party should be over on this side because this column's getting hit, this row's being hit. And then the tank lands here, the tank recovers briefly, and then they're good to go. So that's how you do it for that animation. Then, if it is the other animation, so let's grab this one where she's upright and she's about to slam down on the tank, then the tank wants to be on one of the unbroken tiles, because then she will just teleport up to the tank and then smash them down where they stand. She will break the tile that the player is standing in at that moment. I have lost my AoE marker. I'm gonna go back until I have that again. Okay, great. And then let's see, yeah. So not this one. Teleports over to the tank. And then tile gets broken, and then the cross AoE goes off again. Like this. And that's how I lost it last time. Yep, there we go. I like this. Alright, so hits like that, this tank stays where they are, the party is somewhere on the safety here, and that's that version of it. So she will do 2 of each, so she will do 2 of the knock you down into the tile, and she will do 2 of the knock you up, and so by the end of it, all 4 tiles will be broken. I said earlier that the knockback for this doesn't fully knock you 1 square away. So for people that want to be a little fancy, like I always want to be, one strategy you could do with this is probably more useful if a healer is doing it as a caster and everything. Let's say we have a healer. The healer can actually stand at the very edge of a... you can't do it with this one. At the very edge of a unbroken tile, and with the knockup, the healer can either be looking directly at the boss being casting at them if they want to be risky, or they can look diagonally towards the northeast, so looking at the center here. She teleports behind the person marked with the paw print marker. They go flying, and they don't quite fly a full tile. They can land on the same tile they started in. This breaks this tile. It makes the AoE go off in this configuration. Cross configuration, up this vertical, and across this horizontal. The party is here somewhere, and they're good to go. So that's the way of doing it, where you can do it within the same tile. That's useful in some cases. It's very useful for casters in range, where they can keep hitting the boss and then just fly and still land there. So the boss goes ahead and does 2 of those. 2 of the uppercuts, 2 of the knockdowns. All of these will be broken by the end. And that's basically marks the end of the Mouser mechanic. At that point, the mechanic's going to start repairing the squares along the edge. So let's take this one, move it up. So at the end of the mechanic, Black Cat is going to wind up for a big knockback that you can't resist with arm's length or shortcast. And the announcer is going to repair some of the outer edges. The announcer is going to repair all of these squares, but two diagonally opposite sets of squares will be repaired faster than the other ones. Let me go into a VOD and grab a screenshot. So I'm gonna use Whoops's VOD for this one. So you see the big purple AoE that you can't resist goes off, and then you will see something like this. Like this. So, the repairs are done by drawing squares and everything. You see that this one is being drawn, but still only on the horizontal lines portion of the repairs, while this one is already onto the vertical portions. It's made the full net, so this is about to be regenerated. This is not fully regenerated yet. It's not safe. So when you get knocked back, you want to be knocked, and you could do this by light parties, you could do this by supports north, DPS south, however you arrange it, or you could just YOLO it and it's fine most of the time. You'll get as close to the boss as you can. You see these tiny little squares on this arena. You want to be on these center 4 squares, 2 of these center 4 squares corresponding to the safe corner, and you get knocked over to the portion that's regenerating. If it's regenerating here, which is the northwest, then the southeast is also regenerating, so over here somewhere in this area. So you would get knocked away in 2 groups to to those sides, and that's the end of the whole Mouser mechanics. That's how you resolve the whole thing. For Mouser 1, Mouser 2 will be a bit more complicated because the rest of the party will need to do some things. I'll go over that later.